What's going on, Loco sports fans? Welcome back to the Max Lowco Recap. It is, of course, November 9th, and we have just finished the first week of playoffs in terms of football. Throughout the Lowcountry, we will discuss all the games, but I did want to start out by saying, a crazy week, and obviously in the title, obviously it was very interesting to start out on Friday night just to, you know, see playoff football is finally here. It only feels like yesterday that we were talking about getting ready for the football season, and now here we are, um, already through the first week of playoff football. So let's go over all of them, all of the, you know, games that we had on Friday. 16 playoff teams were taking place on Friday across the South Carolina High School League and SCISA teams within our area. So let's get down to business through all of that. We'll start with the High School League 4A division. Hilton Head at home against South Aiken. Another good night for Hilton Head. They continue to be strong, and they easily took down South Aiken 52-24. Um, but I wouldn't say the same about the rest of the 4A teams that were in the playoffs from our area. Bluffton went down to Gilbert 38-21 at home. Wilson beat May River at May River 36-28, and South Point beat Beaufort on their home turf. Or excuse me, not on Beaufort's home turf. South Point's home turf, probably one of the best 4A teams we have in the division. They take down Beaufort 63-13. So out of the four teams we had through the first round, unexpectedly, we have one remaining. I thought we may have three teams after the first round, but we don't. Two upsets that just came out of left field. So that will leave the brackets to Hilton Head to try and conquer them. You look at the lower, this is a lower state bracket for the playoffs. Obviously, South Florence taking down Darlington. Bishop England won. They are also out of our region. They beat Lower Richland. Obviously, Bluffton Gilbert, that did not go the way we wanted. North Augusta beat Midland Valley. Hartsville beat Crestwood. Gray Collegiate smoked Brooklyn Casey. That's not really, surprising. Gray Collegiate is a very strong team. Obviously, May River goes down to Wilson. Hilton Head beats South Aiken, so Hilton Head will take on Wilson next week. I, alongside Marcus Walsh, will be on the call for that game with Beaufort's own. Appreciate Javon Livingston for allowing us to call that game on Friday night at Hilton Head. So big game there. If Hilton Head can move on, they're more than likely will be playing Gray Collegiate, and that could be one heck of a matchup. Hilton Head wins, they'll get a home game the following Friday. So a lot to discuss on that side. You look on this side of the bracket here, obviously South Point, the one overall seed on this side of the bracket, taking down Beaufort, and this is upper state. So Beaufort ended up having to play a game in the upper state region out of Rock Hill. So very interesting to see that. It's just how the RPI playoffs format has been put together. Kind of unusual, but nonetheless, it is what it is. Kind of figured Beaufort was going to get a one seeded team, whether it was going to be South Florence or South Point. They were going to get one of those two. Fountain Inn beats Emerald. AC Flora beats York. Seneca beats Lancaster. Wren beats Blue Ridge. Westside beats Pickens. Camden beats Greer, although that was a decent game there. And then Daniel with a nail biter against Dreher. Nothing unusual on that side on the upper state side of the bracket. All the upper seeded teams took down the lower seeded teams. No upsets on that side of the bracket. Meanwhile, the lower state very much so different. And at the benefits of our schools within this area, that's where the two big upsets came with May River and Bluffton going down. So they are done for the year. Hats off to both teams, by the way. They played incredible seasons. And I just, while I congratulate them, I'm also very, very frustrated with that. So yeah, it is what it is. All right, let's see. What other games do we have? We'll discuss the Bluffton and May River games. Bluffton, yeah, I don't know what to think about the Bluffton game. I kind of expected the May River game to be a close matchup. I was just hoping May River may have, the win in the end, but obviously that didn't happen. 3A division, only one team, and yeah, the last time we saw a score from that game was Loris was up 56-12 over Battery Creek. I'm gonna see if, now that I think about it, I want to see if we had a final score from that game. I'm sure we know where that game ended up going. 59-19 in favor of Loris. So they will be moving on. Battery Creek is done for the year, so we don't need to go through that bracket. 2A. Now this one's interesting. Hampton County at home against Lake City. We had seen Lake City earlier in the year because they had taken on May River. So we had an idea of where Lake City was going to sit in the playoffs. Takes on Hampton County. Hampton County gets a win, 56-22. They keep rolling. I think this is probably their 5th or 6th straight game where they have scored 50 plus. But on the other end of the 2A bracket, Philip Simmons takes one seeded Philip Simmons takes down Whale Branch. So that would leave Hampton County as the remaining team from our area in the 2A bracket. Let's take a look at the brackets here. So Hampton County, 1 seed, they will be taking on Chiraw. Chiraw had a pretty good game against Andrews. That was a close, tight matchup between those two teams. So, I think you should expect it to be close between these two teams here on Friday out at Hampton County. Manning takes down Academic Magnet. Timberland easily handles Barnwell. Like we've said before, Barnwell's got a down year, but they'll be back. Don't worry. So Manning and Timberland will play. A winner of that game will take on Hampton County or Chiraw. So we'll see how that goes. As for the rest of the lower state in 2A, Central, which is another team to very much so keep an eye on. They're a very scary looking team. Takes down Kingtree 56-6. East Clarendon takes down Lake Marion. That was an upset right there. Lake Marion was the higher seeded team, but East Clarendon has had a pretty solid season. Obviously, Philip Simmons takes down Whale Branch, and Atlanta Collegiate takes down Woodland. So Philip Simmons, Atlanta Collegiate there, Central and East Clarendon, winners of those will face each other in that one. Then on the upper state side, now this is something we need to pay attention to eventually if Hampton County gets into the Final Four. Clinton, who's probably one of the top teams into especially on the upper state side, takes down North Central. Saluda, who's also a very strong team, takes down Mid Carolina. That should be a fantastic game between those two teams. Andrew Jackson, great season for them. Takes down 96 High School, 34-15. They'll be taking on Fairfield Central, who took down Chesney. So those matchups there, winner will play here. Then on the other side of that upper state bracket, Chester takes down Blacksburg. Chester's a very solid team. Batesburg Leesville took down Eau Claire. Eau Claire's had a tough season. We saw them earlier in the year take on some teams in Hardyville. So Chester and Batesburg Leesville will play each other. Strom Thurmond might be the scariest team to look at right now, as they took on Chesterfield 149-0. They'll be taking on Liberty. That should be an interesting game between those two. I'm intrigued by that one. It could be an interesting matchup there. So winners of these two games here will play there, and then we'll get on from there. We'll get to the Final Four, and eventually lower state finals, upper state finals. Then we get to a championship game. Hopefully, Hampton could get down to there. Hopefully, we'll see. They got a matchup that they need to very much so keep an eye on in Chiraw on Friday. So that's the 3A bracket. All right, let's check out the rest of the scores. Not 3A. That's the 2A bracket. 1A bracket. Unfortunately, we are completely out of that one. Bethune-Bowman got the 4-point win, 34-30 over Ridgeland. Ridgeland was at home, so another home upset. We thought Ridgeland might have that one, although Bethune-Bowman's been pretty decent this year. We thought Ridgeland would take on Bethune-Bowman, but again, I think for them to sit out for 2 weeks and not play a game, I think really hurt them in that one. Lakeview takes down Hardyville at Hardyville, another home playoff loss. 28-6 was the final score. We know Lakeview's got a really well coached team. They've had a bit of a down year compared to what they had last year. They were a 1 overall seed last year out of in Lakeview. So that leaves the remaining teams out of the playoffs for South Carolina High School League is down to 2. Hampton County and Hilton Head High School are the only 2 teams remaining out of our private school, not private schools, excuse me, public school teams. And thank you, Javon. I don't know why it did that. That's really weird. Well, I'm going to have to fix that. Anyway, thank you, Javon. We'll fix that before our next show, which is probably next Sunday. Anyway, SCISA 3A. We do have a team remaining in this one, although it is not JP2. Florence Christian took down JP2 in Florence, 28-12. Meanwhile, Hilton Head Christian Academy home playoff game against Trinity Collegiate. Was a little worried about this one, but I think my worries are gone. Hilton Head Christian gets the win, 42-20 over Trinity Collegiate. Solid win. I was there for that entire game. Really great, well-rounded played game by Hilton Head Christian. And with that comes what's remaining of this bracket. And Wilson Hall took down First Baptist 56-24. So Hilton Head Christian will be on the road at Wilson Hall this coming Friday. Pinewood Prep takes down Northside Christian 60-13. Kind of saw that one coming. And they will be taking on, of course, Florence Christian. That could be a good matchup. I'm intrigued to see how those 2 teams play against each other. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I want to see, have they actually played each other this year? They might have. No, they have not. Pinewood has not played Florence Christian. That could be an interesting game. Very interesting game. So that's the semifinals there for the 3A, SCISA 3A division. While we're at it, I do want to see where the 4A division sits because that one's interesting. See if I can check out. I'll go to one specific school. Let's go here. Here we go, football. Let's go to, there we go. Let's check this out, see where everyone's at. Northwood got the bye, so they're taking on Porter Gaud. Man, that was a close game between those 2 schools, 13-6 in favor of Porter Gaud over Lawrence Manning. They've improved this year. Hammond got a bye as well. They'll be taking on Heathwood Hall. They won 48-14 over Ben Lippen. Man, there are not a lot of schools in this division. I'm kind of shocked by that, but I think that's going to change eventually. We shall see. It's crazy to think that's the only 4A schools we have for football. Now, 4A for most other sports is obviously much bigger, but for some reason, this is what's remained of 4A football. So Northwood Academy will be at home against Porter Gaud. Hammond against Heathwood Hall. I think Hammond gets to the championship game. I also think this one should be a really good matchup, but I think Northwood gets the win. And I do think Northwood could beat Hammond. I think they're that good. Actually, I kind of want to see what Hammond's record's like. Yeah, they're 9-1. Kind of not shocking. Their one loss came to, it was Northwood. Northwood, okay. Okay. I think Northwood might, I think we might have a new state championship. 2 Fridays, a new state champion 2 Fridays from now. There's a very good chance of that. I do like watching 4A SCISA football because it is quite fun to watch. So anyway, that's for 3A teams. Hilton Head Christian is in this semifinal round. SCISA 2A. We had one game in 2A. Oh, I guess we had a nephew as well, as we like to call them in Bethesda. We'll get to that one in a second. But the shocking, absolutely ridiculous, shock upset of the night. Four-seeded Hilton Head Prep goes on the road and beats one-seeded, one-loss Calhoun Academy 27-26. These two teams had not played at any point in the season, so it was the first time they were facing each other this year, and didn't disappoint. Calhoun missed the walk-off field goal. Hilton Head Prep is going to the semifinals, and by the way, their first playoff win since 2015. Um, that one threw us for a loop. We did not see that one happening whatsoever. We were all just excited that Doug McFadden's team got a playoff win. We just all thought there's no way they're going to beat Calhoun. Calhoun's got too much, but Helena Prep's been known to fight and fight hard. So I'm very happy to see Hilton Head Prep get that win. Just absolute. It was just a shock. I'm still kind of shocked by it too. Now that I think about it, I cannot believe that that Hilton Head Prep got that win. So yeah. Um, so here's the remaining brackets for 2A. Hilton Head takes on PD Academy. Now these two teams faced. What was it? 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks? 3 weeks ago. Was it 3 weeks ago? When did they play each other? No, that was a few weeks back. First week of October. And PD Academy beat Hilton Head 44-0. Now, I'm going to say this right now. That I don't think is going to be the case here. I think it's going to be a much closer game between these two. Hilton Head is a much different looking team in terms of just, chemistry than they were when they were facing PD. They were struggling at that point, but they have figured out how to win football games and how to fight hard in football games. And I think that could be a good game. Although I'm telling you right now, PD Academy, home playoff game at PD Academy, they got one of the craziest atmospheres I've ever seen for a private school football game. They are absolutely nuts. Now, the nephew that I was talking about, Bethesda Academy, took down Thomas Sumter. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's Bethesda Academy's state championship to lose. There's no way. I don't see Greenwood Christian beating Bethesda, although Prep beat Calhoun, so anything can happen. But just something about that Bethesda team is just really, really strong. They're really good. I mean, they took down Hilton Head Christian, so that's worth something. So that's the 2A bracket, and then finally, SCISA 1A first round. Colin Prep takes down Lee Academy. They move on to the semifinal rounds. That was a 44-28 win. Thomas Hayward beats Carolina Academy. Thomas Hayward has come out of no man's land. Just really struggled at the beginning of the year. They have found their footing, and that's a scary thing if you're the rest of the 1A division when it comes to the playoffs. But on the other hand, Dorchester Academy beats Beaufort Academy, 22-14. And Patrick Henry suffers a tough one against the top-seeded Williamsburg Academy, 40-12. Excuse me. Let me get up the brackets for this one. Here we go. So here's the remaining brackets. Colin Prep taking on Dorchester Academy. These two teams played a couple weeks back, and Dorchester did beat Colin Prep. However, this is a home game for Colin Prep. It's going to be a close one. I honestly don't know who to pick, and I'm going to have to think on it this week. And hopefully when Thursday comes around and the Pigskin preview begins, hopefully I'll have a decision there. But I doubt it because this could go either way. Now this one, Williamsburg Academy at home against Thomas Hayward. Now, and we've mentioned this. Williamsburg has had their fair share of Thomas Hayward Academy, PTSD, whatever you want to call it. They do not like these two do not like each other. Thomas Hayward's gotten the better of them numerous times, including a state championship football game. So this is interesting. This is an interesting one. We'll see what we think on Thursday about that game. So that's all the playoff games. So upcoming games on Friday. Let's see. Upcoming games on Friday. 4A division, Hilton Head takes on Wilson. That's our only one to be concerned about as of right now. And then we'll concern about what takes place next week. 2A division, Hampton County against Chiraw. SCISA 3A, Hilton Head Christian taking on not Trinity Collegiate, excuse me, Wilson Hall. 2A, Hilton Head Prep takes on PD Academy, and then our very nice friendly nephew, Bethesda Academy, takes on Greenwood Christian. Then in 1A, Colleton Prep against Dorchester Academy at home. Thomas Hayward on the road at Williamsburg Academy. And that is what remains of the playoffs. Slim pickings, people. Slim pickings. 6 teams remain in the playoffs for both public and private school teams within our area. So those 2 teams are Hilton Head, Hampton County, Hilton Head Christian, Hilton Head Prep, Colleton Prep, Thomas Hayward. And that is what remains of all our playoff teams. And we had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 teams. And out of all of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 remain. So big losses, big upsets. Let's discuss the hold on, I'm gonna get up the game of the night of the week, I guess would be the way to put it, and that is, of course, the um, Bluffton versus Gilbert game on Buford's Own. See if I can get the highlights here. I need the highlights. Now, Bluffton started out pretty well. I'm going to try to get the highlights up here. I know they're somewhere. I'll get them up here. Here we go. And Hilton had got, Bluffton got off to a pretty solid start. Um, they got the lead 7-3. Just I'm not sure what to think. Gilbert's got some real athletes on that team. By the way, their offensive line is huge. I think that's probably the biggest offensive line Bluffton's team this year. I mean, look at that offensive line for Gilbert. That is a big unit. Big unit. But I don't know if I want to say I'm disappointed in Bluffton so much as, just I just don't know what to think about this game. I mean, Bluffton was easily the favorites in this game. Gilbert's been a strong team, took down Midland Valley. They're a strong program with a great coaching staff, but I just thought Bluffton had too much firepower on offense. But the thing was, their offense really wasn't clicking. It just they weren't, you know, the high scoring offense we expect out of Bluffton, and it was frustrating. It was really frustrating. And I look at it and I just say, I mean, what do you do? What do you do? I mean, this is, and I think what makes it frustrating more so is this is the second straight year that you have high hopes on this Bluffton team, and of course they go out in the first round. Went out in the first round last year against May River, and they go down in the first round at home against Gilbert. By the way, both of those playoff games over the last 2 seasons were home games for Bluffton, and they could not get the job done. It's frustrating. It's really frustrating if you're Bluffton and you're fans of the Bobcats and members of this football program because it is frustrating. You just don't, what do you do? What do you do? By the way, regarding this, of course, this was on Beaver Tone. Hats off to Javon and Marcus. Great call on the game. Um, yeah, it is what it is. Defense held up pretty decent through the first half. It's just, I don't know. I think Gilbert's running game just wore him down. And just to think this was probably Bluffton's best chance of making a deep run in the playoffs. Who knows what they're going to be like next year? Because they're losing a lot. They lose Carnell Warren, of course. You're still going to have Amari Patterson, but you don't have Carnell Warren anymore. You won't have Lucas Gates. You won't have Aiden McCarthy. That's a huge deal. You won't have them. What are they going to be like next season? Because they're losing a lot. A lot of very hardworking players. Cordell Holly as well. They're starting running back. Let me go towards the end. Let's see here. So Gilbert got. Did they get the score here? Yeah, here it is. And after that, Bluffton just could not find ways to score. I mean, they didn't score after this. I mean, they didn't score the entire second half. They came out of halftime flat. And it's frustrating. It's really frustrating because after the first half, usually Bluffton would come out flat in the first half, but never the second half. Usually by the second half, they were really gone, really cooking, really playing some great offense and great defense too. And second half began, and nothing went Bluffton's way. Nothing. Flags were also a problem in this game. They just made mistakes as well. And I look at it and it's just had a great first half. Should have been able to stay in it in the second half and get out the win, but they were flat. They were just flat. It was frustrating. I don't know what else to say about that. You know. Then you have May River. Obviously, they lost as well at home to Wilson. That was a really good game between the two. But of course, May River made mistakes, and they really haven't been themselves the last few weeks. They're just missing They were just missing key pieces on the offense, and we all thought that if any game was going to be an upset, it would have been May River Wilson, because Wilson's had an okay year, but they're a strong program. And just yeah, I mean, it was a really good game until the end. May River had a chance to tie the game up. That just to get an 8-point score, could have gotten a touchdown with 45 seconds left. They were not far from midfield. All they had to do was try to move the ball down the field as quickly as they could. And of course, with that offense, it's never the quickest moving offense. So they had to improvise a little bit and threw an interception, and that was a ball game. And just I didn't expect a whole lot out of May River. I was hoping they'd get a close win against Wilson, but I wasn't shocked that they lost to Wilson. Wilson's a strong team despite the record. And the same thing for Gilbert. Gilbert, going into this one, I was a little scared by that Gilbert team. Just the one game that pointed out to me was Gilbert had beaten Midland Valley, who's been a strong team this year, and I just said, that scares me a little bit. If I'm Bluffton, they have to be on their A game. And in the first half, I don't think they were on their A game. I think they were on more like their B plus kind of game. And you can look at their second half. That was definitely not their A game. It wasn't. And I just look at it and I just say, it's just I don't know what to say about it. I really don't. And I wonder what's next for Bluffton, what's next for May River. I honestly, I'd look at it now, and I know Bonneville likes to run the way that offense runs, but it gets to the point where you just think, is that offense going to work? And that's my biggest question for May River going into their offseason. They come back next year. Do they try to find a quarterback? Do potentially the transfer portal who can open up their passing game? Because I think if they opened up the passing game alongside that running game, you had a quarterback with a good arm. I really do think this May River team could be, I think they have the foundation of a potential multi-dimensional offense with a passing and a running game. Key on the running, focus more on the running, but have a passing game as well because they really don't. It's just running. And so every team knows how to handle you. They figure that out. And for me, I just wonder if May River thinks, during the offseason, is it time to look into changing up the offense? Because it's just, I mean, it did well for them last season, but they had a very experienced, team, a rushing team. But the problem was, that's all you had was a rushing game. You didn't have much of a passing game, and it just didn't. When playoffs come around, it just makes it really difficult because every team is going to know how to stop you, and you best have some really solid talented running backs who can bulldoze some people. It's just, I don't know, I don't know what to think about those two games. You know, and we'll leave it at that. Those are two upsets I just did not see coming around. Maybe the May River game, but definitely not the Bluffton game. That Bluffton team was, real flat in the second half. Whale Branch, Philip Simmons. We don't need to talk about that one. Philip Simmons just has a way better team. Whale Branch, great season by Whale Branch, but you didn't expect them to make it out of the first round, especially when you end up getting, you know, first round game at Philip Simmons. It's just not going to happen. Bethune Bowman and Ridgeland. This one, I think for me, Ridgeland needs to do a better job of scheduling football games because sitting out for 2 weeks to finish out the season before you go to the first round of the playoffs, not the smartest move. Because I think if they would have had a game the week before the Bethune Bowman game, I think Ridgeland would have beaten Bethune Bowman. Honestly, I think Bethune Bowman's had a good season, but I think Ridgeland was just better in terms of depth and talent. And for them to lose by 4 points, for that kind of game, just tells me that Ridgeland should not have taken 2 weeks off. I don't know who scheduled Ridgeland's schedule. They should have scheduled they should have scheduled it better. Having 2 weeks off, before the playoffs, for me, it's not. I don't like it. I don't like it. Lakeview, Hardyville at Hardyville, 28-6. It was a good game to start off, but Lakeview just pulled away. They had a bit too much for Hardyville to handle. Although, hats off to Hardyville. They are a program on the rise. I think they're going to have a really solid season next year. They're not losing a whole lot. They're bringing back a pretty solid team. Meanwhile, Ridgeland's losing a few players here and there. While Hardyville is really not losing a whole lot. They got a lot returning next season, including their quarterback, Emiliano Santiago. With Millie returning and some of the other key players returning, I have high hopes for this Whale Branch team next season. But yeah, that's a tough one against Lakeview. I mean, you expected to have a better game against Lakeview, but it is what it is. JP2, Florence Christian. Now that we're moving over to SCISA, that JP2 team, if any team is going to have a real shot at going into a deep playoff run next year, it's JP2. They aren't losing anyone, I don't think. I mean, Alan Wolf's returning. Jaden Nabinet will be a sophomore, so you have 3 more seasons in him. Andrew Boyden, I think, is a senior, so you might lose him. But other than that, not losing a whole lot. Now, we'll see if any players go to other schools. I don't think they will, just with how good of a season they had this year. I think they all know that there's something cooking. Yeah, I think they have something cooking for sure. Who else? Obviously, we talked about the Prep Calhoun game. Huge upset. Beaufort Academy. Yeah, we need to talk about them. That that team just, oh man. It for me, Beaufort Academy was just a frustrating way to end the season. I mean, you look at their start to the season, they start, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-0, you know, really dominating wins. We all thought, oh my gosh, this team's dangerous. Then you lose to Dorchester and Bethesda in back to back games. Then you lose to Colton Prep in what was a game that was separated into a 3-week span of 2 halves. You beat Andrew Jackson, but then you lose your final 2 games. So started out 5-0 and went 1-5 to finish out the season. Ever since that Dorchester game, they could not figure it out. And I think injuries were a problem with this team. If I remember correctly, a few players may have gotten injured to finish out the season, and that's not something you ever want to have happen. However, I look at the way they finished their season. I mean, obviously, not an easy way to finish the season. Dorchester, you got to play Bethesda, you lose 50-0 to them. Play Colton Prep, who's had a great season. You beat Andrew Jackson, that's great, but then you lose to Thomas Hayward, which you should have lost that game. If you would have won that game, maybe we would have a different turnout, but you still lost to Dorchester once again. It just it's just frustrating. Just really frustrating. I just Beaufort Academy's been known to do this. Um, I don't know what to think about Beaver Academy. It's just it's disappointing. Yeah. Um. All right. Let's go away from high school ball. Let's talk college ball because quite a few interesting things took place, including in the ACC, and we do need to discuss that once I fix all this stuff here. Let's see. Let's see. Do, 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 do. All right, let's get college scores up here. Friday, Northwestern taking on number 19 USC, 38-17 was the final score in favor of USC. Ohio State took on Purdue. Always love to hope for an upset, but there was none. Purdue's had to struggle this year, 2-8 on the year, 0-7 in the Big Ten. Ohio State gets a win, 34-10. Great game between Indiana and Penn State. Penn State, of course, rough year for them, 3-6 with an 0-6 record in the Big Ten. Indiana survives this one in Happy Valley with a toe tap touchdown with less than a minute to go to give Indiana the win and improve to 10-0 on the season, 27-24. Texas A&M, sorry Justin, Texas A&M takes down Missouri 38-17. Alabama beats LSU 20-9. Yeah, I saw that one coming. Georgia beats Mississippi State. No shocker there. 41-21. Ole Miss beats the Citadel 49-0. Let's see. Number 8 Texas Tech, which had some great uniforms against BYU at home. Number 7 against number 8. Number 8 Texas Tech gets the win 29-7 over BYU. Oregon barely pulls away for a win, 18-16 over number 20 Iowa. Notre Dame wins 49-10, number 10 team in the country over Navy, who's 7-2 on the year. They've had a good season. But here's where things get a bit interesting. The top 2 ACC teams, Virginia and Louisville, both lose last night. Virginia loses to Wake Forest 16-9. Wake Forest is 6-3 on the year. Virginia falls to 8-2. California takes down Louisville 29-26. Louisville will now drop back to 7-2. So both teams are has suffered a loss. Those are the top 2 teams in ACC. So that may knock ACC out of playoff potential this year. Vanderbilt takes down Auburn 45-38. Vanderbilt's 8-2. Auburn drops to 4-6. They've been disappointing as per usual. Miami beats Syracuse 38-10. And what was, a boring game to watch, if I'm being honest. I still don't like Carson Beck, although he had a good day, 18 of 24 for 247 yards. Wisconsin takes down number 23 Washington 13-10. Yeah, not much to say about that game, although Washington had just snuck into the top 25, but they dropped to 6-3 on the year. So that's the top 25 games. Of course, Clemson takes down Florida State 24-10. And did South Carolina play at all this week? I don't think they did. No, they did not. So they were off this week. They will be playing against, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that's right. Texas A&M at Texas A&M. So good luck, South Carolina. Clemson, on the other hand, has to take on Louisville on the road on Friday night, 7:30 on ESPN. So we'll stay tuned for that one. And then Minnesota and number 9 Oregon play each other. Number 2 Indiana takes on Wisconsin in Indiana next Saturday. Obviously, I mentioned South Carolina against number 3 Texas A&M. This one's interesting here. Number 10 Notre Dame against number 24 Pittsburgh, both 7-2 on the year. Could be a potential upset game in favor of Pittsburgh. Could be there. Number 21 Michigan will take on Northwestern. I think we know where that game is going. Although it is at Wrigley Field in Chicago, so that could be fun. Number 12 Oklahoma taking on number 4 Alabama. That could be an interesting game. We'll see how that one goes. I have a feeling Alabama's going to win that one. UCF taking on number 8 Texas Tech in Lubbock. So, good luck, UCF. Number 14 Virginia is on the road at Duke. Duke's had an okay year, 5-4, but they're 4-1 in ACC. So they have a shot of, if they win this game between Virginia and them, Duke could actually pull themselves into the top of the ACC standings, even though they're already there. Number 17, Georgia Tech will take on Boston College. I know where that one's going. North Carolina State takes on number 18, Miami. Number 20, Iowa goes on the road to take on number 19, USC. That should be a fantastic game between those two. Number 25, Tennessee takes on New Mexico State. Number 6, Ole Miss takes on Florida at home. Number 13, Utah on the road at Baylor. Purdue on the road at number 23, Washington, but Washington's probably going to be out of the top 25 by Tuesday. Number 1, Ohio State will be at home against UCLA. This is a good one. Number 11, Texas goes on the road to take on number 5, Georgia. That should be a really good one. Mississippi State will go on the road to take on number 22, Missouri. And then TCU will be taking on BYU. And that's the top 25 games for next week. So yeah, any other games to note? No. So that's it for college games. Let's see what's going on. Of course, the NFL is going on right now. Um, Give me 1 second. Do, 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 do. All right. NFL scores. Of course, I'm going to be talking about this team in a second because, oh god, yeah. Falcons lose on in Berlin to Colts in overtime. Great game, although not a good one for the Falcons. 31-25 final score. Um, Jonathan Taylor had 244 rushing yards. We're gonna have to talk about that in a second. 244 people. Um, let's see here. Games that are currently going on right now. Second quarter in Seattle. The Seahawks are up 38-7 over the Cardinals. That's a blowout. The Rams are up 21-7 over the San Francisco 49ers on the road, too. Um, Lions up 22-10 over the Commanders. Commanders have had a rough season. Um, and they're at home for that game, too. Meanwhile, other games that are already final. Bears beat the Giants 24-20. Bears are 6-3, by the way. They're having a great season. 6-3. Here's an upset for you. Dolphins take down the Bills, Buffalo Bills, 30-13, double-digit win for the Miami Dolphins. Bills fall to 6-3. Ravens get a win. They're 4-5. Stunningly, they're 4-5. Win 27-19 over the 4-5 Minnesota Vikings. Toilet Bowl Central right here. Cleveland Browns take on the New York Jets. New York Jets get the win 27-20. They are both now sitting with a 2-7 record. New England Patriots gets the win on the road at Tampa Bay 28-23. Buccaneers fall to 6-3. Patriots improve to 8-2. Saints get a win over the Panthers. I know Wes Kerr is not happy about that one. 17-7. Saints get their second win of the year. They're 2-8. Panthers are 5-5. And then Jaguars took on the Texans today. Texans win 36-29. Texans improved to 4-5. Jaguars fall to 5-4. Thursday night, of course, the Broncos took down the Raiders 10-7. Broncos improved to 8-2. I don't know how long that's going to last for them to be undefeated at home. I just have a feeling when they take on the Kansas City Chiefs, we could be talking about a different story here. And then, of course, tonight, Steelers taking on the Chargers at 8:20 for Sunday Night Football. And then Monday Night Football should be a good one, actually. Eagles taking on the Green Bay Packers. So very interesting game there on Monday night. I'm intrigued to see that one. However, the Atlanta Falcons, can I just say, I'm sick and tired of this team. God, the thing I would say is this. I give them props. They've had two really close games over the last 2 weeks, so they're fighting for it. But the problem I'm having is not with the players, but with the coaching staff. They are the most predictable offense right now in the National Football League. They shouldn't be predictable. Look what talent they have. It's not the players. Excuse me. It's not the players' fault. It's the coach's fault. I'm sorry. I said earlier this week, and I'm going to say it again. Raheem Morris has to go. Whether it's now or at the end of the season, you can't keep him. And when you hire your next coach, don't hire someone that no one knows. Hire someone who can get the job done. Hire someone who can get the job done. Just get the job done. Yeah. The thing for me is, I look at the Falcons. Sorry, I was working on something while I was doing this. The thing for me with the Falcons is I just they have talent on offense. They have a solid defense, although not so much today. Their run defense is atrocious, especially being that you gave Jonathan Taylor 244 yards on the ground on 32 carries and 3 touchdowns. Apart from that, they have a good passing defense. I mean, they held Daniel Jones down pretty well today. He was only able to throw one passing touchdown. And look, it was a tied game going. It went to overtime. I mean, look, I hats off to the Falcons. They fought hard, but they should not be having to fight this hard to get wins, let alone losing them. They are too talented of a team on both sides of the ball. While they're young, they are talented, too talented to be sitting with a 3-6 record. Third in their division. They were projected to finish either first or second. They don't even look like they're going to make the playoffs. I mean, they really don't look like they're going to make the playoffs. It's just frustrating. Really, really frustrating if you're the Falcons or you're a Falcons fan. I just I don't know what else to say about it. It's just it's frustrating. By the way, there you go, Javon. Change that for you. There you go. Anyway, so I mean, Falcons, they're gonna have to figure it out. I mean, what does their next week look like? Hopefully, they have a bye week so they can figure some crap out. They might. No, they're not off. Who are they playing? They're at home against the Panthers. They better win that game. They better win that game. God, I hope they win that game. You lose that game, it's too important of a game for you to lose. You lose that game, kiss the playoffs goodbye. Kiss them goodbye. By the way, game in Spain next week, Commanders and Dolphins. Yeah, what a game to have in Madrid. Oh, wow. Although there is a good one next week for the NFL, Buccaneers at the Bills. That should be a great game. Both 6-3. Buccaneers have a 4-1 record on the road. Bills have a 4-1 record at home. So this is a good one at 1 p.m. on next Sunday. Any other good games next Sunday for the NFL? Let's see here. Seahawks and the Rams both are sitting at 6-2 right now. We'll see how that works out between them. Oh yeah, this is a good one at 4:25 on Sunday. Chiefs on the road at the Broncos. This is an important one. And then of course on next Sunday night, Lions are taking on the Eagles in Philadelphia. That's also a very good game. And then you got the Crapola Bowl on that following Monday. Cowboys on the road at the Raiders. Wow, real solid. So yeah, you know it is what it is. Falcons need to win their next 2 games because they're playing the Panthers at home and then on the road at the Saints. They need to win their next 2 games. They do need to win the next 2. So, let's see what else is there to talk about. Not much. Baseball season's over. Basketball season's in high gear. College basketball season's kicked off. Of course, North Carolina took on Kansas at home, and I believe North Carolina won that. Carolina basketball. Yeah, they did 87-74. Wow, that's a butt whooping. Golly, they were down 37-29 too after the first half, and they scored 58 points in the second half to win 87-74. Man, Kansas should have had that one. Wow, that's ridiculous. UNC might be a problem this year. Might be a real problem. Any other good college basketball games on today? I bet you there ain't. See any games today? Let's see what took place yesterday. Oh, well, that's some good games actually. Alabama took down St. John's 103-96. Um, Duke won. Houston won. Tennessee won. Number 22 Michigan State beats number 14 Arkansas 69-66. Great game there. BYU won. Let's see. So no games today, but tomorrow Iowa State against Mississippi State. Probably a blowout. Iowa State's pretty good. Any great games on Tuesday? Oh, there is a good one. Number 9 Kentucky and number 11 Louisville. That could be a great game. Plus, that's a rivalry game, so that might be really fun to watch at 8 o'clock on Tuesday. On the 11th. Any other good games that night? No, not really. Although Thursday the 13th, number 1 Purdue takes on number 15 Alabama. That could be a great game. Any other great games going on Friday night? Number 13 Arizona taking on number 12 UCLA, number 21 Gonzaga taking on Arizona State, and then on Saturday, next Saturday, number 8 BYU takes on number 4 UConn. That should be a heck of a game. And then next Sunday, number 2 Houston against number 20 Auburn. So a lot of really good games coming up this week for college basketball. It's back. College basketball's back, and it's about to kick into high gear in the next few weeks or so. So great to see college basketball back. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it, and we covered all that in under an hour. So I want to thank everyone for joining in on the show and watching and listening. The viewers, you guys have been fantastic for me as well as the rest of Loco Sports. Just so you know, Javon, I did already say, did fix that whole upper thing here on the screen. That is fixed, so no longer does it say my name twice. It's Mad Max. Don't worry. And I just want to thank the viewers for everything you guys have done to support us. Thank you to the sponsors of Loco Sports for continuing to help Loco Sports keep going and growing. And it's been fun. I think we need to do this more often. I think we should do Sunday night shows, at least like right around 5 o'clock on Sundays, do some more Mad Max Lowco recaps. And by the way, nothing beats the top of this screen right now with the Miami Vice look, especially with that Loco Sports logo in Miami Vice colors. That looks so good. But anyway, I will do my best to be back here next Sunday, probably 5 o'clock again next Sunday, and I will recap with you everything that went into week 2 of the high school playoffs, high school football playoff scene. Hopefully, we get wins on next Friday out of Hilton Head, Hampton County, Hilton Head Christian, Hilton Head Prep, Thomas Hayward, and Colin Prep are what remains of our playoff teams, and hopefully we see them all win on Friday night. But we shall see when that day comes around. For those of you who may not be going to the Hilton Head game and want to watch, you can watch it on Beaufort's Own on Friday. Hilton Head will be at home against Wilson High School out of Florence. Should be a great game. I will be on the call on Beaufort's Own alongside Marcus Walsh of WHHI. This is the first time me and Marcus will be working together on something like this, so I'm very excited for it. So I hope you guys look forward to watching that game on Friday, and if not, come out to the game itself. Don't sit home and watch it. Come out to watch a playoff game. It's always a fun time over at the Nest. So So we have those games and then other games from around the local sports area for the second week of the South Carolina football playoffs. So until then, I want to thank everyone for joining. Um, of course, for those of you who are watching the Instagram stream, unfortunately, it disconnected. So I don't know what happened there. Just disconnected. So probably right as I hit an hour, it does that for some reason. I need to fix that. I don't understand why Instagram does that. After 1 hour, it just disconnects the stream. It's just ridiculous. That's just stupid. I don't understand that. If anyone knows how to fix that, by the way, please let me know because I don't. I really hate that. I really do hate that. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for watching. I will see you next Sunday night. But if you continue to watch Loco, I will see you actually tomorrow night on the Loco Sports Lowdown with myself, Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, and very potentially and possibly Marcus Walsh of WHHI. We will see you tomorrow night. But for the next Mad Max Loco recap, look forward to seeing you next Sunday night at 5 o'clock, 5 sharp. And if something does happen, I will let you guys know through Instagram. But I want to say thank you to everyone. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow night on the Loco Sports Lowdown, and look forward to seeing you on the next time we have this show. So thank you, everyone. This has been the Mad Max Loco Recap. And until next time, go Loco.